Tonight on TBN. With Strayer Hall undergoing major construction, the private music lessons program has had to turn elsewhere for practice space. TBN gets a look at what the changes looked like for students and teachers. After emergency repairs, the Claudia Boettcher Theatre has finally opened back up for the first time this academic school year. Felipe Queiroz goes behind the scenes to find out more about the process and people who helped the CBT get up and running again. Gus Creech explores the controversy revolving around the disputed Knoll in Dobbs Ferry, New York. Dozens of residents have taken to protest the development of the Knoll, a wooded area in the northeast corner of the village. See more on the Protect the Knoll movement and legal struggles that the neighbors of Dobbs Ferry and the land developers are facing. For the second time in 3 years, the Kansas City Chiefs are playing against the Philadelphia Eagles for a chance at a Super Bowl win. Felipe Queiroz meets with students to discuss the matchup and hear their predictions for the big game. Check out special segments on the Anatomy Club and look into the Masters swim team. All this and more, next.
Good evening, I'm Gus Creech.
And I'm Azara Charles, and we are recapping and following the latest news.
Members of the TBN staff, William Sun and Ryan Lim, interviewed several students and teachers to find out how they are navigating private music lessons while Strayer Hall is under construction.
Today, we're exploring how music lessons continue even as Strayer Hall undergoes renovations. With the music building temporarily out of service, students and teachers have kept the lessons going, now in Esterwood. To better understand how the music community is adapting, TBN spoke with 3 private music lesson teachers, Ms. Gwendolyn Bradley, Mr. Brian O'Connell, and Ms. Olga Timchenko, along with some of their students.
Just singing-wise, it's been a positive change because in this room we have a lot of privacy, and that's very, very integral for singers. Some of the other challenges that we have had, however, are when they enter the building, someone has to be here to let them in because of the way this building is designed and for security. That's been sometimes somewhat challenging, especially in cold weather, but we've managed.
It's been an adjustment. It's a beautiful place that we're in. I mean, you can see how wonderful it is. The acoustics of this particular room are rather exciting because we have a little bit of reverb, etc. But having said that, we do hear the noise. It can be a little distracting for the students.
The acoustics are very different, and as we noticed a little bit, you can hear other lessons going on, and at least for me personally, it throws me off just a little bit.
The acoustic here is very generous. It brings the best out of instruments. I think it's really inspiring to play in this environment. There are times when our lessons coincide. We don't find that creates a big challenge for us. It's actually a good sense of having a community.
For me, I often find myself able to tune it out and just be able to focus on what's happening in our room and be able to not have to deal with any of that. So it's never really been a problem for me.
While Strayer Hall remains under construction, the spirit of music education continues to resonate. We all hope Strayer Hall's renovation can be completed soon. For TBN, this is William Sun. Thank you for tuning in.
It must be amazing to play music in Esterwood.
Yeah, I always forget that we have a nationally landmarked historic building right here on campus.
The Claudia Boettcher Theatre has finally opened back up after emergency repairs that kept the doors shut all of the first semester. Felipe Queiroz goes behind the scenes to find out more about the technical side of the cleanup process to get the CBT up and running.
Students began the school year with an unexpected shock. The Claudia Boettcher Theatre was closed indefinitely due to a mold outbreak. Morning meeting was relocated to the Fonseca Center gym, and Department of Performing Arts group had to get creative in finding new venues. As the second semester begins, the CBT is finally reopening, just in time for the winter musical Mamma Mia. Morning meeting is also set to return in its original home in the CBT. We spoke to Andrew Snyder, Associate Head of School for Finance and Operations, who told us about efforts to reopen the theater and the measures taken to ensure everyone's safety.
When we first identified that there was mold, we reached out to a company called First Response that helps us with remediation of the space, air quality control. Step one was to figure out what we needed the air quality to be, and then we were pretty consistently measuring it. There were 4 different times that we measured the quality of the air in all different kind of zones within the space of the theater. It's obviously a very big, open, voluminous space. The part of the project that made it so difficult, the building's very old. It's been around for a while, and the mechanical systems, the HVAC systems that support it, the ductwork are equally as old. And because it's a theater and it has acoustical treatments for sound purposes, ductwork actually has insulation inside of it. And the issue that we ran into, the reason it became a much larger project than we wanted it to be, was because some of the insulation within the ductwork got wet. And that's almost impossible to clean. We were actually able to seal the existing fiberglass within the ductwork so that we didn't have to rip it out and replace it. We'll continue to go through air quality testing as needed to make sure that it stays at the required levels that it's currently at, and we'll do that on an ongoing basis until we're able to start the bigger renovation. I know from the student perspective it was probably really hard not having a theater in the fall for morning meeting as well as for the DOPA program, but they were moving as quickly as they could, and we're really excited that it looks like we're going to get back in.
Good morning. Good morning.
On February 5th, the CBT finally reopened for a morning meeting, welcoming students and faculty for the first time since June 6, 2024. A huge thanks to everyone who worked hard to make this reopening possible. I'm Felipe Queiroz, and you're watching TBN.
It's great to hear about all the work that was put into restoring the CBT.
Yes, a special thank you to everyone who works so hard so we can go back to enjoying morning meetings and wonderful performances in the future. In Dobbs Ferry, a housing development has been proposed on land that has long been protected. Gus Creech takes a look into how the village residents and the developer have responded to the controversy.
A century ago, here in Dobbs Ferry, many streets were drawn on paper maps but never actually built, until now. One of these paper streets is now planned for development. The Knoll, a 1.2-acre wooded area, has long been a subject of debate in the village of Dobbs Ferry. In 2005, the village board passed a resolution permanently demapping many paper streets in Dobbs Ferry, including the paper street on the Knoll. The resolution was recently proven invalid by the village board, allowing development plans to continue. Many village residents worry over the uncertainty of the development. The land serves as an extension to the Juring Estate, a 76-acre nature preserve directly adjacent to the Knoll. When neighbors living next to the Knoll discovered the potential for development, they took action. In late 2023, Daniel Vergez formed Protect the Knoll along with other residents in Dobbs Ferry. Now, the group is fighting the development. They currently have a petition to stop the process that has amassed over 300 signatures. TBN spoke to Daniel Vergez on the goals of the group and why it is important to maintain undeveloped land in Dobbs Ferry.
The goal of the group is to prevent the development and to conserve the area forever with conservation easements or other ways to protect this nature area forever. We want demapped paper streets to stay demapped.
The Knoll contains 13 separate lots, 4 of which were purchased by Andrew Cortese in 2024. David Steinmetz, the lead lawyer for Andrew Cortese and the development project, recently spoke at a town hall meeting. The meeting's agenda was to consider the potential downsides of the proposed development. TBN spoke with Mr. Steinmetz on concerns and questions surrounding the project.
His goal is to ultimately develop 4 houses, 1 house on each of the 4 lots, and they would be consistent in size and nature to the homes that surround this area.
Steinmetz says that the process to get the houses approved is thorough and precise.
No one is getting anything approved without going through, at a minimum, an exhaustive and comprehensive land use planning, zoning, engineering, and environmental review.
He acknowledged the concern regarding the development as well as the confusion with the 2005 resolution that demapped many of the paper streets in Dobbs Ferry.
The village never owned the Knoll. It never accepted or took dedication of the road. And if it doesn't take dedication and it doesn't own the road, it can't demap the road. The issue here is balancing somebody's property rights, Mr. Cortese's, against those of the neighbors, and doing it in a safe and environmentally sensitive fashion. The development that we are proposing, that my client is proposing, would incorporate a number of environmentally sensitive and sound engineering practices that would protect the environment.
For residents like Allison Eggleston, the proximity to nature was a reason she and her family moved to Dobbs Ferry.
About 3 years ago, we moved, our street is called Briery Road, and we have just, not too many feet away from us, a beautiful 70-acre nature preserve. And the nature preserve was, for us, one of the biggest draws to this neighborhood.
She worries that the development would worsen already significant flooding in the area and set a dangerous precedent for the village.
And this proposed plan would significantly alter the watershed of the existing terrain. They've already marked over 100 established trees to cut down. So what you see us walking on right now, this is essentially where the developer wants to build a road, and it's between two properties where my family lives and where our neighbors live. And so this was drawn out on paper almost 100 years ago.
Right.
And at the time, modern safety code didn't exist. But one of the things that we pointed out to the developer is that anything that would be built here would be non-compliant with Dobbs Ferry road code on about 18 points. These blue markers are from surveyors that the developer brought in to mark out what would be the parameters of the road. And they just kind of show how the development actually is going to go back pretty far, pretty extensively, essentially effectively clearing out this whole wooded area that we're looking at right now. We really feel that if this one were to go through, that it would set this really dangerous precedent, that suddenly many more of these green spaces in our village would disappear.
TBN contacted Mayor Vincent Rossio of Dobbs Ferry for further information, but he declined to comment. We will continue to bring updates as the issue continues. This is Gus Creech reporting for Tower Broadcast News. It was really interesting to see how much is going on behind the scenes in relation to the development.
Yeah, I was surprised to see all the controversy.
TBN Sports Director Felipe Queiroz hosted a roundtable with students to discuss the Super Bowl and predictions for the big game.
Hello everyone, welcome to a special edition of TBN Sports. I'm joined by three amazing football analysts. On my right we have Rohan Patel, Jordan Lee, and Curtis Bloomberg, and they're going to give us predictions, storylines, and stats for Super Bowl 59. Eagles versus Chiefs. So to start off with the first question, we'll keep it simple. Who do you think is going to have the better defense entering this game?
Well, personally, I think that the Eagles are going to have the best defense, especially because they're ranked number 1 in points allowed, and now they have the addition of Zach Bond, who was actually nominated for Defensive Player of the Year.
The Eagles definitely have the better defense. Not only do they have Zach Bond, but they also drafted 2 new corners in Cooper DeJean and Keon Mitchell, who has both been locked down amazing top 20 corners in this season. So yeah, I feel like the Eagles definitely have the upper hand on defense.
To the other side of the ball. Now going into this game, offense. Who do you guys think will be better on offense for this game?
I would actually say the Chiefs have the better offense. Yes, the Eagles have a lot more talent on their offense, but I feel like guys working together as a unit, the chemistry, the Chiefs, they've been here before. They're prepared, they're well coached, they always perform very well on both sides of the ball, especially offense. That's how they've already won.
I would probably also say the Chiefs. I feel like what Curtis said, kind of the chemistry of the team, just especially with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
So, on both sides of the team, for the Eagles and Chiefs, who do you think will be the X factor that will lead them to victory?
Oh, definitely on the Eagles, it's going to be easy, Saquon Barkley. I mean, we saw what he put up against the Commanders, 3 touchdowns, he's pushing past 2,000 rushing yards. He works great under pressure, he's going to put up a great performance against the Chiefs.
Flip side, I think with the Chiefs, and I mean, he was kind of going crazy last game. I think Kareem Hunt, even though Pacheco will probably be back for the Super Bowl, I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a stellar game, and I think there will be some rushing touchdowns from him.
The Chiefs and Eagles, they played a Super Bowl 2 years ago, where the Chiefs won 38-35. So if you look at the Super Bowl rematch, we'll start with the Eagles. Were they the Eagles team, this Eagles team, compared to the Eagles team that lost to the Chiefs 2 years ago?
I'd say that the Eagles are a much, much better team than they were in 2022. Compared to running backs, they had Miles Sanders 2 years ago. Now they have Saquon. They have a way better O-line. Yes, they lost Jason Kelsey, but Cam Jurgens has stepped into that role. He's played out amazingly. I would say he's played top 5 in centers this year. And overall, that defense, their drafting, their free agency pickups, they just improved their team by so much. They basically have at least an above average player in almost every single position, which they didn't have in 2022.
I agree, but I also think the one thing that the Eagles have picked up, that the Chiefs have as well, but more prominent in the Eagles, is chemistry. I feel like the Eagles, with the additions of new players every year, they've been able to play together and they know each other better, and I think that chemistry is going to help them a lot in the Super Bowl.
But now let's flip it around. How does this team compare, the team that's trying to get the three-peat, compared to the Chiefs team that started the three-peat run 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's been some major changes in the wide receiver core. You have Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown. That combined with the electricity of playoff Patrick Mahomes is honestly just, it's going to be a great game to watch.
If you look at the last one, they had Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. They didn't have very good receivers, but this year they're better. They're better on defense, they're better on offense. It's also 2 years later where they've actually won Super Bowl in between these 2 years. And like I said before, I feel like the chemistry is just unmatched right now.
They've won 2 Super Bowls already. And I feel like even with a different roster and a different team, like if you can get it done 2 years ago, you can get it done this year.
Finally, to wrap this up, I think the moment we've all been waiting for. Can you please give me a score prediction and which team is going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. I don't like it, but I feel like they're going to repeat. Everything's pointing the way of the Chiefs. I'm going to say 27-20.
I'm really hoping for an Eagles win, so I am going to go with the Eagles this time. Score is awfully close to Curtis's, but I'm going to say 27-21 Eagles.
I also think the Eagles are going to win 24-28, and I think that just throughout the game, the one thing the Eagles have been working on, the tush push, I think that's going to get them the first down on those tough calls. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big factor.
Absolutely, whatever happens, this is guaranteed to be a great game. I want to thank Curtis, Jordan, and Rohan for taking the time to be here. You're watching TBN. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch Sunday football.
It was so nice to hear some of the predictions from football fans as somebody who doesn't really watch football.
Yeah, I'm sad the Bills didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but at least the Eagles will have a chance to beat the Chiefs.
The Anatomy Club, founded by sophomore Wei Hu, has gained popularity amongst students. Check out a sneak peek into the club.
The Anatomy Club is one of the new clubs at the Master's School. It is one of the most exciting, hands-on clubs we've ever seen. Wei Hu will tell us about the club he helped start.
We were thinking about doing an anatomy club as kind of like a new field that no one has done here before, and also kind of like engage people into this activity through dissection. Today we are doing sheep eye dissection. The Anatomy Club is a relatively new club. We just started this year, and I'm grateful that we have kind of like a relatively popular club, and it's like an accomplishment for me and also the other club leaders that we are kind of like bringing this interest of dissection into the students at Masters. And it is really like important for us because it gives an opportunity for 9th and 10th graders who can't have dissection in the classroom. It gives them an opportunity to dive into their field of interest.
This club teaches you about dissection through engaging experiences. If you want to learn more about Anatomy Club, just go to room 206 in Morris Hall at club time. Hope to see you there.
I can't believe they're dissecting real animal parts.
I know, right? I definitely have to go to club time.
And finally, let's take a look at the girls' varsity swim team.
Hello Tower Broadcast News. How do you turn an individual sport into a team victory? This week, the girls' varsity swim team dove into their first meet of the season against the Burley School, and we're bringing you the excitement poolside.
Everyone else has their own personal goals and their own things they want to accomplish, and just working around that and making sure everyone's having a good time while still improving is really important.
Everyone here supports each other. Everyone here has the same goal of seeing each other succeed. And then that, I think, it's the key part of making this feel more of a team and not as an individual sport.
Swimming, you're in your head so much because there's no music, there's nothing really to do. So you have to think of different ways to motivate them, like doing relays at the end, doing Texas 25s, doing something fun to get them to keep going, pushing through, because if they have a hard practice or a hard set and then they keep on having that over and over again and they don't do anything fun after, they're going to be like, okay, it's time to move on, I hate this. But if they do stuff like games at the end and stuff like that, it helps them a lot.
Just treating everyone like friends and family helps to create a community, even though we're different ages and different backgrounds.
I also think Annabelle and me have been doing a great job of creating team spirit. Everyone was there, the energy was there, and I think as captains we just help bring out the energy in the girls tonight. So I'm very happy about that.
Wow, what an incredible comeback from the captains in the relay. With incredible teamwork, the swimmers kicked off this season in style. Until next time, see you poolside.
It's so great to see our sports team finally dominating.
Yes, congratulations with a great start to the season.
And that's all we have time for here tonight on Tower Broadcast News. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to Tower Broadcast News on YouTube and follow @Masters Tower on Instagram.
Thank you to everyone who helped make this segment possible. Stay tuned for more school and local community coverage. I'm Gus Creech.
And I'm Azara Charles. From all of us here on the TVN staff, have a great night.